This is Josh Wander for Israel 365. I'm here with the International Director of ZAKA, David Rose. Thank you for sitting with us.
Thank you, Josh, for coming today to speak to us.
Israel is now reeling as a coming together as a whole family because of a terrible tragedy, the worst civilian tragedy in Israel's history, modern history. And ZAKA was at the ground zero of this. They were the ones that had to deal with the situation, not only as it was unfolding in trying to save the lives as many as they could, but also after the aftermath and the bodies that had to be brought to in a respectful and proper way, which is what ZAKA does on a regular basis when it comes to accidents, terror attacks. But this goes above and beyond anything that ZAKA has ever experienced before. Can you tell us a little bit about what the organization is experiencing and how people can help if they want to be part of this incredible chesed, this incredible situation that, again, once in a lifetime, we hope it'll never repeat itself.
All right. ZAKA, in general, every year we prepare for Meron. It's a big operation for ZAKA. Our main concern is every year making sure children don't get lost and helping with medical, search and rescue, people messing over there, etc. And we have a big team to come up before already, a couple of days before, to prepare for Meron. And this year was a special year after a year of COVID-19 when we won't be able to. Last year, no one was there. The place was empty. Maybe a few hundred people came. And this was a year of joy for us in a way that we overcame this pandemic of COVID. And finally, we can get together and celebrate. And the celebrations turned into grief. Volunteers that were dancing minutes before with their friends and then rushing and helping to save lives and then staying on for hours throughout the night, Friday, Motzei Shabbos. Everything is needed just to help the families find loved ones. I myself was dealing on Friday with a certain family, a 14-year-old kid that unfortunately was found around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. He was found dead. And all that trauma on those volunteers, like doing that switch, like from happiness to sadness within seconds, to understand what's going on here, to hear the radios calling in and saying 2, 3, 10, 15, 20, and you don't understand what's going on. Like you're dealing with a body of volunteers that tell me they're dealing with situations when you're pronouncing a person dead and his phone is ringing. On the phone it says, "My wife." How do you pick up a phone and this guy is dead now? How do a mother is standing outside the ZAKA's place and saying, holding up a picture of a kid and saying, I'm looking for my kid. What do you tell them? And that was, we've been through so much trauma. We've been to exploding buses and stabbing and car accidents and all that. But 45 people that came to celebrate, to be happy, and to turn around and to come back in a body bag from Meron, it's something beyond our imagination, something that we were not prepared for. And unfortunately, we had to deal with it. ZAKA did an amazing job. All the organizations, different, search and rescue organizations with the MDA, Yuchad Atzal, etc. Everyone did amazing work. And these volunteers need help.
So let's just talk about that. The trauma that you're describing was much more than just the trauma of the victims and their families. The trauma extended to the caregivers themselves, the first responders that were there, and to their families as well.
I'm saying, to going into Shabbos now with such grief, to understand what they dealt with, standing, like you see pictures of 45 bodies lined up in body bags of ZAKA, taking them afterwards into loading them into trucks to make sure they get on time and trying to help the families before Shabbat. You're working like a robot, but when you come home just minutes before Shabbat and now what? He needs to make a switch to be with his family and to try and put all the, images that he had in his head of people being stepped on and all that. And then he has to go into Shabbat. We need to help them. ZAKA, those volunteers today, need help. If you go around now by ZAKA volunteers, you hear in the voices the difficulty to express their feelings. sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's just being very quiet to themselves. We have to make sure now as an organization is make sure our volunteers, God forbid something should happen to them in trauma. And that's something that's very important. Our responsibility today is to make sure that whatever they did and they're helping out, we have to help them out also.
Give us some examples of how the ZAKA organization is helping their volunteers to cope with this, and what other people that want to help out, what can they do?
So right now, this week, we're going to be doing a lot of debriefing. Last night, there was a meeting by Zoom to different volunteers. This week, we're going to be having workshops with social workers, with psychologists, psychiatrists, whatever is needed. People have to speak it out. Sometimes it's difficult the first 24 hours to say something. We know this from experience from other events that we've been to. If it was in Harnoff Synagogue a couple of years ago with a massacre over there, again, it's something that's so delicate to understand, and we set up workshops, and sometimes you need music to bring out to express a feeling. Sometimes it's to get out of the house. Sometimes you need a weekend to go with the family, a vacation. There's so many different elements needed right now that to make sure that volunteer is safe, his soul is safe, his mind is safe, and that's what we need today is to help these volunteers. Is like I said, workshops with social workers, psychologists, vacation, whatever is needed to making sure that this volunteer is safe and he's okay with his family. And that's what we have to make sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, if someone wants to help out, definitely go to our website, zakaworld.org. Check the information over there. Be a part of ZAKA. ZAKA is the organization that belongs to everyone. We are all volunteers trying to help out in Israel, doing our best as we can in Israel, around the world. Thank you for everyone that's supporting us, and may Hashem send us the support that we need. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.